The FBI makes an arrest in the national mail bomb case, an OU student hit by a car just off Lindsay Street. Plus, the feds step in to one of the biggest meth cases ever in Norman. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Nicole Nielsen.
And I'm Parker Thune. We begin tonight with the very latest in the package bombs mailed to prominent people who may have spoken out against President Trump.
The FBI has arrested this man, Caesar Sayoc. He's 56 years old and a resident of Alpharetta, Florida. Not long after two packages were delivered to Senator Cory Booker and former National Intelligence Director James Clapper, the Department of Justice and FBI announced that Sayoc had been arrested when DNA evidence found on the devices connected him to the case. Investigators say he is the man behind at least 13 packages mailed to several different people in various cities across the United States.
Of course, the biggest question is, who is this man? Scott Haas has been looking into his background and joins us with details. Scott?
That's right, Parker. The FBI says Caesar Sayoc has a history of run-ins with law enforcement. Sayoc has been arrested almost a dozen times in Florida, dating back to the 1990s. The most notable charge in Sayoc's history is an arrest back in 2002, where Sayoc made a bomb threat to a Florida company. Here's a mugshot from that incident. Police say Sayoc called the Florida Power and Light Electric Company and made a bomb threat saying, quote, "It would be worse than September 11th. In that case, Sayoc pled guilty and was sentenced to a year of probation. Sayoc also had previously faced grand larceny charges back in 1991 and was sentenced to a probation for 2 years. In 2013, he was arrested for battery and grand theft and arrested again in 2015 for violating his probation. The FBI is charging Sayoc with 5 federal crimes, including multiple accounts of mailings of explosive devices and threatening a former president of the United States. In total, the number of charges against Sayoc add up to 58 years in prison, with additional charges possible in the near future. FBI Director Christopher Wray did warn the public that there still could be additional IEDs that have yet to be discovered or are possibly currently in transit through the mail. Wray ended by saying that these are not hoax devices. And Nicole, some Texas voters are complaining that voting machines are flipping their straight ticket voting selections.
Thank you, Scott. 2 women arrested in Norman for possessing a record amount of meth now face federal charges. 36-year-old Enrique Lara of Chicago and 21-year-old Jasmine Morales of Texas were arrested by Norman police. Detectives say they had 150 gallons of the meth in a truck fuel tank parked at a Norman hotel near Main Street and I-35. The estimated value of the methamphetamine is said to be about $3 million. If convicted, they face anywhere from 10 years to life in prison.
And police closed off a significant portion of Lindsay Street last night after a vehicle struck a pedestrian. OU Nightly's Sammy Steele joins us with the latest details on the crash live from where it happened. Sammy?
Nicole and Parker, police say they responded to a report of a critical injury collision here at the intersection of Lindsay and George Avenue last night near the duck pond just behind me around 7.
Identified the pedestrian hit by the car as 27-year-old Destiny Guerrero. Guerrero was transported to OU Medical, where she remains in critical condition. Police say she was using the crosswalk on Lindsay Street when she was struck by a 2007 Toyota Tundra that was turning west onto Lindsay Street from George Avenue. The driver of the vehicle has been identified as 21-year-old Laura Am Stoops. Am Stoops was not injured in the collision.
By police, we do know that these 2 women are enrolled at the University of Oklahoma. Other details remain under investigation. On Lindsay Street, I'm Sammy Steele, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Sammy. Leah Hill joins us now in studio to give us a little bit of an update on this warm weather we've been seeing. Leah?
Thanks, Nicole. So very beautiful weather. If you are not outside, I would highly recommend going outside. Sitting at 72 degrees, quite a bit warmer than we were yesterday. We're actually 17 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So feeling amazing outside. Coming up though, I'll be talking about when we'll see our next cool down. I also have some information on our spooky Halloween forecast and update on your game day weekend.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Leah. Coming up on OU Nightly, a look at Oklahoma's liquor industry in the aftermath of State Question 792.
Plus, getting around Norman on public transportation will be a little bit more difficult come 2019. Stay with us.
Welcome back. With 11 days until Americans head to the polls, there is new information about just how close Oklahoma's gubernatorial race is. According to the Cook Political Report, Oklahoma's status as a red state has changed. The Sooner State is now considered a toss-up state because the race between Kevin Stitt and Drew Edmondson is considered too close to predict. The last day to request an absentee ballot in Oklahoma is October 31st. Early voting takes place November 1st through 3rd at all county election boards.
It's been nearly 1 month since stronger alcohol has been allowed in Oklahoma. The law also allows grocery and convenience stores to sell full-strength beer and wine 7 days a week. Now liquor stores across the state are seeing less business, and store owners are unpleased with the law.
I mean, it was almost a retaliatory strike at liquor stores. They gave us nothing, in the law, nothing. And the two main things that we asked for is being able to do wine tastings in the store and allowing children to come in with their parents, so they don't have to leave them out in the car, which is against the law. The children can walk down right next to the beer and the wine in the grocery store, but they can't come in the liquor store.
Many liquor stores have reported this decrease in sales.
The Cleveland Area Rapid Transit System, or CART, will remove its Saturday services and decrease select routes starting January 1st, 2019. Likewise, the Alameda and Main Street routes will also have reduced services. These changes are due to financial problems that OU Parking and Transportation are facing. CART operated at a loss of $350,000 in fiscal year 2018. Despite these consolidations, CART will still service around 5,000 riders a day from Monday through Friday.
Next up on OU Nightly, Leo Hill will give us our extended forecast.
That's right. We have a beautiful weekend, but I'll show you when we'll have a cool down coming up next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. It is absolutely gorgeous outside right now. I was out there earlier today, so if you haven't been outside right now, so far today, just go outside. It is gorgeous, sunshine all across the state, and we have some very comfortable temperatures as well. Here, Oklahoma City sitting at 71 degrees. We do have that light winds, and we're also pretty dry today. So like I mentioned, perfect day to go outside. And through the evening, temperatures are going to be very nice overall. We have those clear skies that are going to continue through the night, and temperatures are going to be dropping off slowly. So at 10 p.m., if you have any late evening plans, 57 degrees, only getting to 54 by midnight. Absolutely a beautiful night again. So lows across the state, we're going to drop to 50 degrees, which is about average for this time of year. Across the state, we're seeing those low 50s temperatures as well. A little bit colder out towards the Panhandle. Guymanson at 44 and Miami up there at 45. So tomorrow, if you have any early day plans, we're going to be 50 at 8 a.m., but we're going to quickly warm up by noon to the 70s. And then if you have any evening, late afternoon plans, 80 degrees is your high temperature for tomorrow. So today was really nice, but tomorrow is going to be even nicer. We have those sunny skies continuing through the night. So highs across the state sitting in the 80s, 80 in Norman, 79 in Oklahoma City. But you all want to know what's going to happen next week with Halloween. Well, unfortunately, we are going to have some rain. So it is going to be spooky outside, but we also have those rain chances. So if you're going to be trick-or-treating, we're going to have temperatures in the 50s through the evening, and it is going to be cooling off throughout the day. So you're going to want to make sure, if you are going to be out and about, you're going to want a rain jacket or maybe pack a little bit of heavier clothing just to stay a bit on the warmer side. So for Halloween, again, beautiful, but tomorrow is homecoming weekend, warming up, Sunday staying warm and beautiful. As we go through next week, there's Halloween. We have that cold front coming through on Halloween, which will be cooling temperatures, but bringing again those rain chances for Wednesday. And then cooler temperatures again next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Leah. Excited for that good weather. And it's that time of year again. Oklahoma's high school marching season is in full swing. OU Nightly's Cassidy Mudd recently caught up with the Claremore Zebras as they prepare for their competition.
25 bands from across the tri-state area came to Oologah for the 12th annual Battalion Marching Band competition to battle it out in front of the judges for first place. While each band marched to a different drummer, nothing kept a beat like the story behind Claremore High School showed this season. The three movements represented the idea of leaving the darkness and negativity in our lives and moving forward with the hope of a brighter future. Claremore High School band director David Mudd said he wanted his band and audiences to find a deeper meaning within the music based off their personal experiences.
I felt good. I felt proud. I was pleased. I felt relaxed because everything was coming together just as I had planned.
High school senior Tenoli Locust says the context enables the band to find their own meaning within each note.
It helps a lot with our performance because if you're just thrown onto the field with no idea what the backstory is, you kind of don't know how to perform it. So with that backstory, we were able to perform the first movement and transition into the second movement into the light. This year in particular, I feel like we've all grown together as a community, especially as a band. So at this point, we just keep getting better and better.
2A to 5A bands have been performing here since 8 o'clock this morning. The top 12 will march it out, preceding the final award ceremony at 9:30 tonight. Reporting in Ulaga, Cassidy Mudd, OU Nightly.
The Oklahoma Bandmasters Association State Championships will take place at Bixby High School at the end of October, wrapping up Oklahoma's marching season for 2018. And Nicole, you know what that means. Marching season winding down, that means football season's winding down.
Yeah, and it means that the semester went by way too fast. I'm going to miss football season for sure. But speaking of football, Big Friday Sports is coming up next, right, Sam?
Yeah, we've got tons of stuff to talk about today on Big Friday Sports. We got football, basketball, baseball, even a little gymnastics. And we'll take a look at OU's most recent breakout freshman running back. We got Big Friday Sports Homecoming Edition coming your way. In true Sooner fashion, alumni race home for the university's homecoming festivities. Tomorrow morning, Crimson and Cream fill the seats for the homecoming parade featuring the best of OU.
Food, fun, and football, I don't think it can get better than that.
It can.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. I'm Shiloh Sellers alongside Sam Brown, and we've got a wide range of sports to cover today, so let's get started.
Let's do it.
Saturday, the Sooners host the Kansas State Wildcats for their homecoming game. The Crimson and Cream are fresh off a win after defeating TCU last weekend.
With Ruffin McNeil at the helm of the Sooner defense, this weekend should end in another Oklahoma victory. But let's bring in some certified experts on the topic. Game Day U's Josh Calloway and Madeline Roberts join us with a quick preview of tomorrow's matchup. Guys?
After a month without a game at the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, the Oklahoma Sooners are finally back at home playing Kansas State tomorrow. I'm Madeline Roberts. This is Josh Calloway. Josh, it's good to be home.
Yeah, finally. This is their first October home game. It's the last weekend in October. It still feels like September, though. Hot out here, ready to go, ready to get back in the stadium.
Now, obviously, 3 weeks ago, the Sooners suffered a loss to Texas, but they bounced back in a big way last week with a big win over the TCU Horned Frogs in Fort Worth. Obviously, they'll look to keep that momentum going tomorrow against Kansas State. Josh, what is your key to a Sooner win?
Well, you got to keep the defense rolling good. That's big. But I think the most encouraging thing from the TCU game was actually the run game. Since Rodney Anderson went down, the run game has not been good. It's been bad. They have not had a solid rusher outside of their quarterback, Kyler Murray. Sermon and Kenny Brooks were both great against TCU. They need more of that. And if Sermon doesn't play tomorrow, we still don't know. If he doesn't play, a lot of pressure falls on Kenny Brooks to step up and be that guy. Run game needs to be good again like it was last week.
Absolutely. My key's on the other side of the ball. It's the rush defense. Skylar Thompson, QB for Kansas State, obviously has good legs, can run the ball. They also have two backs, Alex Barnes, huge running back. He can run the ball super well. And Dalvin Warmack, a little bit of a smaller guy, but he can run the ball pretty sneakily good, too. So look for the defense to have a good game, especially on the rushing side of it. Score prediction, Josh.
I think Oklahoma wins this one pretty big. I'm going to go 55-20 Oklahoma. I think kind of similar to last week. Defense looks good. Offense looks good. Should be an easy breezy win.
I agree. This Kansas State team is not very good.
They're not very good.
We haven't seen really good things from them so far this season. I'm going to say 62-21 Oklahoma. Big win for the Sooners. That is all for us right now. But tomorrow morning, tune in 8 a.m. sharp to Game Day U. We'll be breaking down this game and a lot more. Back to you guys.
Now, the biggest question has been with the Sooner defense, and finally, Ruffin McNeil gave us an answer.
Yeah.
The boys looked really solid defensively, breaking up that offensive line. Now, going up against an offense like K-State, they should be able to shine and blow them out of the water. I think the Sooners will dominate in a 52-21 victory.
That's a good pick for those of you at home. If you're a betting man, That's what you go with. I'm going to go with you all the way. I'm going to say 49-20 Sooners. I don't think K-State really has the talent to keep up with OU, and their defense has been shakier than it's been in the past under Bill Snyder. Now keep an eye out. Alabama has a bye week this weekend, so expect some big numbers from Kyler Murray as he looks to close the gap between himself and Tua Tagovailoa in the Heisman race. Meanwhile, Kennedy Brooks plays his best game as a Sooner in his own stomping grounds. Torrey Johnson has more on his breakout performance.
Kennedy Brooks has been waiting his turn. He missed last season for the Sooners for a shoulder injury, but I think after last weekend, the wait is over. The conference matchup with TCU was one for the Brooks. We saw an increase of playing time and production by the redshirt freshman Kennedy Brooks. 18 carries, 168 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Just be ready. You don't know when your time's going to come, So just staying ready and never have to get ready, that's what I say.
Brooks tore up the best defense in the Big 12, earning him the conference's newcomer of the week.
Guys have got to have some, we call it, they got to have some ball. They got to have some sense, and he does because he hadn't seen a look like that in practice not one time, and he made us all look really smart. So, I mean, that's what really good players do.
This feat should come at no surprise. His senior year, he racked up 2,865 yards and 40 touchdowns, earning the Star Telegram's Offensive Player of the Year in 2016.
I'm very humble about what I did last week. I could have done without my teammates who carried me on. Coach is getting me prepared and ready. So I'm really ready to work even harder this week for Kansas State. So.
Brooks is a unique style run. Coach Riley says it looks like he's going for a jog with his Labrador, and we get to see some more of that effortless style here on Saturday. From the Palace on the Prairie, Torrey Johnson, Big Friday Sports.
All right, thanks, Torrey. Meanwhile, the Sooners volleyball team, they've been bumping, setting, and killing. OU is riding a 2-game win streak, and they're in Austin tomorrow to try and make it 3 in a row against number 8 Texas.
Now, last time the teams met a couple weeks ago, the Longhorns won at McCaslin Fieldhouse by 3-2. But Alyssa Enneking is still playing at a high level. She's in the top 25 in kills per set and is carrying this team in Big 12 play.
You're not wrong. Last week was a little slow in the Big 12, but don't worry, conference play picks up back this week.
Yes, and they say Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot, but the Thunder are just looking to strike once. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. So I have 2 predictions for tomorrow. The first one is a Sooner victory, obviously, and then the second one is going to be these temperatures in the 70s to start the game. But we're going to be warming up to 80 degrees tomorrow, so it's going to be absolutely perfect weather for this game. We have the sunny skies, very light winds. Kickoff is at 2:30. It does not get much better than that. So Sam and Shiloh, send it back to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Really happy about that weather. Now let's take a quick look around the Big 12. The weekend starts in Ames at 11 for the Cyclone Red Raider battle. Then in Kansas, TCU and the Jayhawks kick off at 2 o'clock.
OU's got a special homecoming date with K-State that we talked about earlier. That kicks off at 2:30 on Fox. And then to fill out the Saturday at 7 o'clock, Texas and Oklahoma State will take the field. Watch out for that Oklahoma State upset. I'm just going to go ahead and call that now. But we were blessed with some Thursday night Big 12 action. Can't really say there was a lot of action. West Virginia taking on Baylor. This game was over from the get-go. West Virginia quarterback Will Greer with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 first-half touchdowns.
Now the Mountaineers led 41-0 at halftime, and they never looked back. Not a lot of bright spots for the Baylor offense, just 287 total yards. West Virginia takes this one easily, 58-14. And halfway around the world, Oklahoma senior men's gymnast Yul Moldauer and graduate Colin Van Winklen are busy competing at the 48th Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. The two began competing with Team USA at 1 this morning in Doha, Qatar.
Last year, Moldauer nabbed the bronze medal on the floor and placed 7th in the all-around. This year is his first time competing in a world's team competition. You can catch the team final Monday at 8 p.m.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder have matched their worst start in 11 years after last night's home loss to the Boston Celtics. The Thunder jumped out to a 16-point halftime lead, but then the Celtics came roaring back.
Boston outscored OKC 16-1 in the final 4 minutes, 22 seconds to end out on top. Jason Tatum led both teams with 24 points. He's making a lot of fantasy owners, including myself, some very happy customers. Final score, 101-95.
Glad that worked out for you, Sam. Game 3 of the Fall Classic is tonight, and it's safe to say this is a must-win game for the Dodgers. Boston jumped to a 2-0 lead after a 4-2 Game 2 win on Wednesday, and LA has looked lost so far.
They have looked lost, but here's the good news. The next 3 games are at Dodger Stadium. That's a huge opportunity for the Blue Crew to shift the series back in their favor. Walker Buehler starting on the mound tonight for the Dodgers. In my opinion, he's been arguably the best Dodgers pitcher this season, but not so good in the postseason.
Meanwhile, Rick Porcello is getting the start for the Red Sox. He's got a 4.22 ERA this postseason, so we could see a lot of runs this one.
Yeah. Let's shift over to the gridiron now. The Houston Texans took the must-need win last night against the Miami Dolphins by a score of 42-23 behind Deshaun Watson's 5 touchdown passes, picking up their 5th straight win of the season after starting the season 0-3.
The Texans are now in sole possession of the AFC South lead. Their defense, has been firing on all cylinders. J.J. Watt and Tyrann Mathieu both got sacks to go along with the INT by Justin Reed. Miami tried to organize a comeback, but was ultimately dismantled. But don't let that game distract you from one of the craziest catches you will ever see.
Look at that right there. Jakeem Grant, Devontae Parker says, I'll go ahead and take that. Looks like they're playing pinball out there, honestly. Jakeem Grant gets the catch on the Brock Osweiler throw. It's pinball out there. Bounces off the safety and falls right into Devontae Parker's hands. Really looks like it could go either way. It could be pinball or football.
The reflexes by Parker are insane. He had 6 catches for 134 yards on the night, but it's safe to say that catch was by far his most impressive.
Yeah, and a couple big games in the NFL this weekend now, too. You got Vikings, Saints, all that good stuff.
Right.
That's going to do it for us at the desk. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Big Friday Sports. Alongside Shiloh Sellers, I'm Sam Brown.
We'll be back here doing the usual thing next Friday. Until then, we leave you with highlights from last week's dominating performance against TCU. Happy homecoming week.